Welcome back to Runnerverse. I'm Andrew, and this is continuing my playthrough of RoboMon, which is currently crowdfunding on GameFound as I record this. This is a full spoiler playthrough, so if you're not interested in spoilers, just watch as much as you need to get a feel for it. Or if you want to start from the beginning of the story, as well as get some of the tutorialization, check out my first episode in this series, tutorial playthrough at Copper Ridge. I'm continuing to explore Port Platinum, this time Port Platinum Northeast. Previous episode, I faced off against Waverly and earned my first patch. It was a tough battle, and two of my RoboMon got completely KO'd. So Fruit Flyer and Regenair are going to need some healing. I also got a fishing pole for winning, so now I can use these fishing pole search charts. So that said, let's take a look at the lore for Port Platinum Northeast. And of course, hit that QR code for the music. Port Platinum's Arts District is home to the Boole Museum of History, which was built to preserve as much about Alloy's history as possible. The museum now houses more artifacts than any other building in the province, and they even have a system set up to buy items if you can bring in something both old and interesting. We have the normal search chart. We'll get to roll on this twice, as well as the fishing pole search chart, which we now have available, and our RoboMon finder is still offline. Taking a closer look, it says Remains of the Past, Bones of the Fallen, Works of the Masters. Some stuff we'll be looking at today. We can go anywhere on the map, but thematically we're coming in from this way, so let's just talk to this guy first. 2825. And right off the bat, there's a battle. That's a good way to kick off the video. Hit the Port Platinum battle music. And Chemist Rupert says, let's have a little experimental battle and see if we get a reaction. He has RoboMon 7 and 9, which is going to be a Reladybug and Nosferatu. So we've seen Nosferatu a couple times before, but this is our first Reladybug. So two of our RoboMon are unavailable. I'm going to try out Pandile and Propofen. This is our first Propofen Battle. We do not have a perfect type matchup against these opponents, however. Speeds are 82, 52, 50, and 48. So it's a nice little clump around there, but that's the sequence. Reladybug has 2 armor, and Nosferatu has 1. Each of those armor will block 2 damage. And let's roll our 7 action dice to see what we can do. Got a little bit of movement. And Propofen is up first. It has a swim speed. I guess I should put them onto the map. I think this is the first battle where I really did not get to pick out a type advantage. Part of that is because a couple of my nature attackers are KO'd, but I actually don't have anything that has advantage against air. I would need either an ice type or an electric type attacker to have advantage against air. But anyway, we work with what we got, so I'm going to give 2 movement dice to Propofen. Propofen's speed is 4, or movement is 4. Probably been referring to both of these stats as speed, but this one is actually called movement. So movement of 4 with a swim speed, meaning we can move through the water without impediment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go right up to Nosferatu. It is putting Propofen in the danger zone, but I think that's okay. So we're going to use 2 basic attack dice. In order to use Fin Slice, it's a basic attack. We're using 2 dice, which means we get to use the second damage value, which is 3. Costs 1 energy, so it goes from 7 down to 6. And we're going to do 3 damage. It doesn't have a type, so we're going to roll the basic black modifier die. 3 minus 1 is 2. But that's okay. 2 damage still breaks the armor at least. And Nosferatu has 6 health. After that, Reladybug is up next. And so to see what Reladybug wants to do, we're going to roll a d4. Got a 3, which means it wants to target an air or water type. There is a water type right up next to it, and a 3 is Zap, which is an electric type attack, which kind of stinks. It has range 2, so this means it actually needs to move because it's 3 away. So you can move orthogonally only, but you can target diagonally. So 1, 2, 3 distance away. So Reladybug will need to use 1 of its 4 available movement to get in range, and then use Zap, which does 3 damage. But because electric has advantage against water, it's going to be rolling the green modifier die. And I'm also going to roll the d4s along with it to see if it gets paralyzed, which would stink. And that'll happen if the d4 results in a 1. Did not get a 1, which is nice, but a +3 means 3 damage becomes 6 damage. and that is a lot. So we can use our armor die that we rolled to prevent the first 2 of that. We can use this token to prevent 2 more of that, but we don't have any more blocking, so Propofen's going to take 2. With that, it is Pandal's turn. We only have 1 movement die left, although it can use its action token as well. The question is, what is it going to do with that? So we'll probably definitely have it move at least once with its movement of 3. 1, 2, 3. Fireball only has range 3, so if we, yeah, we can either move or use a special attack. And Slam does not, Slam is a melee attack, so if we wanted to use this die to use Slam, we would need to be in melee range, which we can't do. So I might actually leave it where it is in case we need to use this as armor. Because Nosferatu's next, and there's a 50% chance it's going to target Pandal. So let's just leave it at that and see what Nosferatu wants to do with the D4 roll. Of 4 means it wants to use Whirlwind on a 3 or 4, and it wants to target a nature or fire type. We do have a fire type, so it's going to go for Pandal. It has a range of 3 because of the 3 dots by the range symbol. It has a movement of 5 with flying, which means it can ignore the water. RoboMon can move through each other, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3 away. Again, movement was orthogonal, but range can be diagonal. So it just made it, and it's going to use Whirlwind. Air does have advantage against fire, so Nosferatu is going to be rolling the green modifier die with the 3 damage, plus 2 is 5. So we're going to use this as armor and take 3, putting Pandal up to 4 damage because it already had 1 from a previous battle. Also, all RoboMon adjacent to Pandal take 2, but fortunately that does not happen. So that was a tough first round. We'll roll up for round 2. And hopefully this goes a little better. We got a lot of armor, but not a lot of attacking. I think I'm going to try to focus fire Nosferatu because it has only 6 health left. Ladybug has 7 health and 4 armor. Normally I would just go for what I have a type advantage against, but in this case that's nothing. So I'm going to give Propofen 1 movement. It can move 4, and I think I'll just move it to there. That is close enough to do a melee attack. And taking a look at its card again, so you can see Fin Slice is clearly a basic attack. Flying Headbutt is marked as a special attack. Water Spout isn't marked for some reason, so I have to assume it is a special attack, especially since it is typed as water. But that calls Flying Headbutt into question. I haven't seen any basic attacks that are ranged, but I also haven't seen any special attacks that weren't meant to be typed. So either this should be a water attack, a water special attack, or this should be a basic attack that somehow has range, which would be the first one I've seen. But I have to say, which reminds me that I should have mentioned this is all prototype, so this is a fraction of the final game, and this is very much a work in progress. So anything you see, anything and everything is subject to change, especially including things like this. I think I'm going to treat this as a ranged basic attack because thematically it's a headbutt, and this one is typed as water, but this one isn't. So I'm going to say it was just a mix-up with getting these symbols in the right place. But again, prototype, that's just how I'll be adjudicating that for today. But I think I'm still just going to use Fin Slice, so it doesn't matter. We're going to use this token as an attack, a basic attack, and we're going to take this basic attack as well. So again, we're doing a 3-point Fin Slice, spending another energy, and hitting Nosferatu with 3 damage plus the black modifier, -1 again, so that's just 2 more damage. There's 4 health left, and then Ladybug gets to go. It wants to do a zap against an air or water type. So again, Propofen is being hit by a zap, which is 3 damage and the chance for paralysis. It's a crit, which means 3 is doubled to 6, and they roll again, 9 damage. We already used its action token, so we can't turn that into armor, but we do have these 3 armor tokens. We can block 6 out of that 9. Thought the 6 armor would be enough, but Propofen still takes 3. Means it has 5 damage and 4 health remaining. Pandal gets to go next, which means there's still a chance we can finish off Nosferatu, but not really. We just don't have the attack dice. But Pandal has the potential, so I'm going to use 1 movement to get into range. We'll just stay a little bit distant, I guess. Now we'll move up all 3 spaces, and then we're going to use Slam, and we're just going to use the action token, so we have 1 basic attack symbol, which means we get to do 2 damage. Modified by the black die, spend 1 energy for that, and we're hoping for at least a 0, 2, -1, dang. So if we had done at least 2 damage, I would have used overcharge to take 1 damage on Pandal to add 2, 2 would have become 4, and that would finish off Nosferatu, but in this case we're only dealing 1 and 2 more damage would just put it down to 1, so why bother? Which means Nosferatu gets to go next and probably hit Pandal. 3 means it's using Whirlwind. Unfortunately, I did not forget and put them adjacent to each other. Though it does say all RoboMon adjacent to the target take 2 damage. In this case, Nosferatu is adjacent, so it's gonna damage itself. But yeah, that's 3 damage with the green modifier. Air against fire, +2 is 5, and that's actually gonna take out Pandal. So now I have 3 knocked out RoboMon, but Nosferatu will take 2 from its own Whirlwind. I'm gonna have to start looking at some healing. With that, we start the next round. When it's Pandal's turn, we will instead send out a new RoboMon, and on the next round, we will reset the initiative. So, first up is Propofen. Nosferatu only has 1 health left now. Goodbye, Pandal. I wish Propofen had some kind of multi-attack to hit both of them, but I think I just have to finish off Nosferatu while I can. So I'm just going to use both of these basic action dice to do a 3 damage Fin Slice again. It's going to cost 1 energy, and that's 3 damage. -2 is 1, but 1 is still enough. Now the question is, do I want to use any of this movement to run away, or just rely on this armor, because we have the token as well available as well, and the wilds can be armor if we pay energy for it, so we can just block the damage that way. So Ladybug might just be able to catch up, and then we're going to be far away and have to worry about running back next turn, along with the new RoboMon that we field is going to start in one of these back positions. So I think I'll just count on this as armor. Give Ladybug its turn. 3 again is going to be a zap again. So that is 3 damage. +3 is 6. We'll use the token, the action die, and we'll spend 1 energy to change a wild into an armor and defend all 6 of that. Then on the initiative 3 count, which was Pandal's turn, we get to field somebody new. And as weird as it is, I think I'm going to send out Hydron because it has a big range. And our only other option would be Treadle, who's very slow. Although Electric is disadvantaged against nature. I mean, I guess I do have this option of it. I could have done a type bonus. I just was worried about Treadle's very slow movement. So I'm going to stick with Hydron. Then we go to the top of the round, so we'll recalculate initiative, which stays the same, except for we're losing our initiative count of 4, but Propofen, Ladybug, and then Hydron. And got plenty of movement, so if we had sent out Treadle, we would have been able to get in range, it looks like. Propofen, we just need to keep Fin Slicing, but I kind of don't want to. I only rolled 1 single attack icon. It's a special attack. We could Water Spout. You know what? We might just let Propofen go down swinging, so I'm going to use 1 movement die to move Propofen up to 4. Just put it to here. Then we're going to use 2 energy and 2 special attacks to do Water Spout for 5 damage. Water is not disadvantaged against lightning. We have range 3, so we're well within range. We're going to roll the black die with 5. -2 is only 3, but it also has a push 2, and because Ladybug is back up against the wall, that 2 push turns into 2 damage. So it's 5 damage, which breaks all 2 armor for 4 points of damage and 1 overflow out of Ladybug's 7 hit points, so it has 6 left. Then Propofen might be going down here. We'll see what Ladybug wants to do. A 4 means it scrambles. So scramble is interesting. It says discard all unused dice showing a wild until next round. We don't have any of those, so scramble doesn't really do anything. So Propofen gets to survive, and we can use 4 movement dice. Hydron's speed our movement is only 2, so we can move 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually as close as we want to get because now we're going to use Squall. We're going to use its action token as 1 special attack symbol to do 3 damage. Best to spend 3 energy for that, which I forgot to set up as energy, so it's going to be at 6 remaining. And then it's going to do 3 damage with 3 push in that targeting space. So not the space in front of it, but these 5 spaces, which includes the Ladybug, obviously. 3 damage, -2 is 1, but with 3 push that becomes 4, and the Ladybug still has 2 health left. The dice have not been friendly to me this battle. Final round, I assume. Propofen should be able to finish it off. Just needs to do 2 more damage. So let's use a basic attack plus this basic attack to do a Fin Slice for 3. We do need to move into range with that. It might make more sense just to use water spout. So even though Propofen only has 1 energy left, you can overspend your RoboMon's energy. So we won't move, we'll just stay back and use the range 3 water spout with 2 symbols to do 5 damage, plus 2 push, which is basically going to be 7 damage, plus 2 is 9. Finally I get the plus 2. All I needed was 2 total damage to finish off our Ladybug. Finally, now I need to go heal up my RoboMon. Time for some repairs. Oh, and for winning I get 4 silver and 2 batteries. So for the first time, I'm thinking I might take advantage of the open world aspect of this. I'm tempted to just explore everything on the map, but with my RoboMon so damaged, I might peek down here in Port Platinum Southeast, which I'm assuming is there, although I haven't visited yet, to see if there is a RoboMon healing center. And there is. Look at the Robo Repair Center here. I could have been strict with the way I've been playing and use my repair kits that I have. I could heal my RoboMon that way, but let's check out 1227. I'm going a little out of order, but I mean, that's the way the game's designed. You don't have to go in order. So this is the RoboMon Ranger Help Desk. I can claim a certification if I've completed one. Let's see, I've got 1 out of 20 investigation and 1 out of 22 research, so I'm not quite there yet. I can obtain an appointment voucher using an item, or I can upload data using an item. I have a pocket boat voucher, not an appointment voucher, a broken watch, a VHS tape, a broken RoboMon tracker. I feel like none of those really match up. If I wanted, I could try. Maybe I want to upload data with this VHS tape, in which case I would go to 8988. Yeah, that didn't work. So I guess that's not where I go to heal. This does say Robo Repair though. So Robo Repair is in the rules reference, although this looks like a big time Robo Repair as opposed to these smaller Robo Repair stations. We saw one of those, I think, on the old road. This is where you can switch out your RoboMon or heal them. The first visit is free, but there's supposed to be a bubble that I can fill in to indicate I've used the free one. This one doesn't have a bubble, so I wonder if this is like the big one that I can come to for free all the time. But given that everything is open world, that doesn't make sense mechanically. So I'm going to say this is supposed to have bubbles, and I'm going to use my one-time free one here and now. And then we'll save this for next time. I'm going to go back over to here and continue my search of Northeast. Let's talk to this guy here next. We do want to go in the museum for sure, but I might do that last. And that's another battle, so I'm glad I healed up. Researcher Harvey says, my latest studies suggest you want to give up now, before you submit yourself for review. He has RoboMon 3 and 17. Ooh, we got a Fruit Flyer and an Armadillo. Those are some familiar faces. Gotta use Propofen and Fruit Flyer. I like the way Propofen uses those basic attacks. So we have a mirror match between Fruit Flyers. I think we had a mirror match before. It might have been Treadles. Our speeds are going to be 82, then 71. Fruit Flyers are both 71, but ours gets to go first because them's the rules, and Armadillo will be last. Let's see what we're working with. Some basic attack symbols, so I'm glad we have Propofen to use at least some of those. And again, I'm planning to use Flying Headbutt as a basic attack. So it's not a water type attack, so it won't have advantage against the earth type Armadillo. We will be able to use these earth symbols. It has range 4. And Fruit Flyer has nature type attacks which are strong against water, so we might want to target that down first. Let's see, range 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 movement. So we need to move at least twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2 movement for Propofen. And then we'll give it 3 basic attack dice, saving its token to use a Flying Headbutt for 4 damage, which costs 2 energy. 4 with the normal modifier die, 0, so that's just a straight up 4. I forgot to put out its armor. It should have had 2 armor tokens, so both of those are going to be broken by the 4 damage. And Armadillo should have had 1 armor token. Fruit Flyer's next. It has flying but only 3 movements. We can give it 1, 2, 3. Maybe I should have used this token for something for Propofen, but I think I like being able to block as well. So we'll just use this to move again, 1, 2, 3, or even just go straight to here because it flies, so it can go over the water no problem. So can Propofen. Hopefully I don't regret getting too close. Let's see what Fruit Flyer wants to do on their side of things. With a 1, it wants to tackle our highest speed RoboMon. So 1 speed, highest, tackle, 2 damage. Our highest speed is Propofen, so it does need to get into melee range, but it has 5 movement, 1, 2, we'll do it. Can target diagonally, 2 damage plus 1 is 3. So we'll use the token and this to block all of it. And then Armadillo gets a 4. which means it wants to target a fire or electric type, but we don't have those, so it'll just target the closest one, which will be Propofen, and it wants to use Burrow, which is 3 damage, earth type attack, and it is neither advantaged nor disadvantaged against water. It can move 3 extra spaces. Oh, and this is a melee attack, so it does need to move at least a little bit, but alright, that's 3 damage. -1 is 2, and we can't block that, so 2 damage on Propofen. Back to the top with Propofen. Any attack symbols? Any attack symbols? What do we got? Got a couple wilds and a couple specials, so we can start throwing water around. Well, they're perfectly lined up for Fruit Flyer's mist attack. So I think I'll just have Propofen use Fin Slice. So we're going to use this as a basic attack symbol. We'll use a wild as a basic attack symbol, which means we have to spend an energy, and then Fin Slice costs 1. So down to 3, we're going to do 3 damage, and we're going to target the Armadillo. Basic modifier die means 3, -1 is 2, which is just enough to break the armor, and then we'll give a movement to Propofen. Yeah, I guess we have to move it out of the way. That's far enough in order to let Fruit Flyer get in. So Fruit Flyer is next. We'll use its token to move 1, 2, and then we have to use this wild, I think, to move as well, which will cost an energy to move into this position so that it can use Mist Attack, because then it can target both of these RoboMon, which are diagonally adjacent to it. It's going to cost 3 energy to use Mist Attack, and we want to use 2 special attack icons. Fortunately, we have those in order to do the second number of damage, which is 4. We're going to roll separately against them, especially since nature type attacks are advantaged against earth, but disadvantaged against air. So because Fruit Flyer does have the air type printed on the card, I've been playing Fruit Flyer as an air type, even though it has nature type attacks. So we'll roll against Armadillo first with the green die. That's 4 plus 3 is 7, which means it has 2 health left. But we have to roll with the red die against the Fruit Flyer, so that's 4 minus 3 is 1. So it has 5 health left. That did not go as amazingly as I hoped. Fruit Flyer is next. 2 means it wants to target an earth or water or electric type. We do have water, so it's going to use Fruit Cannon against Propofen. It has range 6, so it can easily hit. Nature is advantaged against water, so that's 3 plus 2 is 5. We can block 4 of that. Armadillo is next. Got a 3, which means it wants to burrow against an electric or fire, but we don't have that, so it'll target whichever's closer, which I think will be our choice. So we'll choose Propofen. No, we'll choose Fruit Flyer, because earth is disadvantaged against air. So that's 3 damage. Miss. Just a straight up miss. On to the next round. Propofen's up first. They're still in mist attack range, but Fruit Flyer is not going to take much damage from it. I wonder if Propofen's water spout can finish off the enemy Fruit Flyer. So I'm going to move it over to here. We're going to spend 2 energy down to 1 and 2 special attack in order to use the second damage number of 5. So 5 damage against Fruit Flyer, plus 1 is 6, plus 2 push means it pushes to here. Second push turns into a damage. So that's 7 damage, just plenty to take out Fruit Flyer. Very nice. So if our Fruit Flyer can finish off Armadillo, we're in good shape. We just need to do 2 damage. So I'm going to go ahead and use Mist Attack. It costs 3 out of our 4 energy, and we'll use the token as a special attack symbol to use the first damage number of 3. Nature's advantage against earth, so 3 plus 3 is 6. We only needed 2, so we got it. And our prize is 4 silver and 2 batteries. I'll take the 2 batteries. I think it's time to transfer some of our silver from tokens into pencil form. We got 4 more. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 29. I'm going to transfer 20 of that and just keep 9. Now let's go ahead and do a couple searches. So there are 2 magnifying glasses that will let us roll down on this chart. So we'll just roll a d4 twice to see what we get. 3 is a wire, my favorite, and re-roll that. 1 is a battery. So 16 batteries. And I'm thinking maybe we should just use those wires. Let's go fishing. I got a fishing pole, so let's give that a shot. So again, I've got to spend 1 battery to initiate a fishing attempt, and then I need to roll a d12 and hope for a high number. 3. Well, we still roll again with the d10. We need this to be the 3 or lower. 6 means we failed, so that's a waste of a battery. Let's go again. d12 first. 12, that's what we want to see. and the D10, 1. Still don't get anything though unless we hit with a D8, so we need this D8 to be a 1, and it's a 7. All right, let's go fishing again. This is fun. 5, okay. 4, gotta keep going. 4 again. Okay, so now that we got the D8 successful, we could just take a search result and just roll D4 on this search table like we just did twice. Or I can keep pushing and roll the blue die and hope for a 4 or less. 2/3 of the time we'll get that, so let's go for it. 2 means we successfully reached that level, so now I could stop and choose to face RoboMon number 16 in a wild battle. I believe that's the same Propofen that we encountered and reprogrammed on the previous page. So I'm going to push again and go for a D4, and we need a 2 or a 1 on the D4. 4 means our fishing attempt failed. So I'm going to try a couple more times and see if I'm just wasting batteries or if I can get that RoboMon 15. Okay, so I'm down to 7 batteries. I rolled 12, then 9, then 7, but then on the D6 I rolled a 2. So I'm back down to the 50-50 on the D4. I got a 1. Okay, so cost me several batteries, but we're now facing RoboMon 15. So hopefully the fishing pays off. Okay, so we have seen this guy before, but this time it is a wild Finrid. We don't have to worry about range, so I'm going to use Treadle and Regenair. Finrid has a lot of health to get through, so hopefully Treadle can help with that. And this is good, I have at least one RoboMon who goes before Finrid, which is nice because of the way the timing works. Let's see what we have. We have several movement dice, which are completely useless in this format, but at least they don't have the purple timer symbol. So we got that, which we can't use because we're not playing on the grid, but at least we didn't get this, which has the timer symbol, which would invoke this token, which would count against Finrid's 4 time. If we roll the purple timer symbol, we add a time token to Finrid. If it ever would start its turn with that many time tokens on it, it runs away and our reprogramming attempt fails. So first let's have Regenair. I guess let's just use a scratch. I think I do want to save armor. I don't want to take a bunch of damage, but I'm going to have to get through this armor. It's got 3 armor tokens and 10 health, but I'm just going to give 1 basic attack die to Regenair to use a scratch for 2. So that's going to cost 1 energy. It's going to be 2 damage, plus 1 is 3. At least it's not a minus, so you still just break 1 shield. That absorbs 2 damage, and then the next shield takes 1 damage and it's not broken, so it resets to the full 2 damage required to break it, which makes it Finrid's turn. It's going to use or do 4, which means it wants to target an earth or fire type. We don't have those, so we'll get to choose, and it's going to use water gun. We'll have it target Treadle because water is disadvantaged against nature, so it's going to be 4 damage with the red modifier die. Minus 2 is 2, and we can shield it. So that was nice. Treadle's up next, and well, now that we're safe from the attack, we can use its attack token as a special. We'll use this special as well, and Treadle can use Fertilizer Bomb. It's going to cost 3 energy, which is a lot, but hopefully we can do a bunch of damage, but not knock it out. But it's got 14 health, so I feel okay about that. We're doing the second damage number because we're using 2 dice, so it's going to be 5. Nature's advantaged against water, so we're going to roll the green die. 5 plus 2 is 7, minus 4 from 2 armor is 3, so that's 3 out of total of 10 health, and we move on to round 2. Okay, we got 1 timer this time, so that's 1 out of 4, but that's okay. Also, it is nice to have a RoboMon that goes faster than the wild RoboMon, because if we ever did roll, let's say next round we roll 3 timers all at once, that'll be 4, but it doesn't run away until its own turn, so we would still have Regenair's turn first, and we have to use up a RoboMon's turn by attempting a reprogramming. So we can always give up Regenair's turn as a final chance to attempt to reprogram Finrid. But that's not necessary now. We do have some useless movements. 3 wild dice, which are nice, but they cost energy. I did not bring any high energy RoboMon to this battle. So I actually probably don't want to use Fertilizer Bomb again, because if we roll a +3 or a crit, even with the weakest version, that's 4 damage, plus 3 is 7, or 8 with the crit, or 8+, so that would take it out. So we don't want to use Fertilizer Bomb again. We're going to want to plink away. So I think I'm actually going to go for a big scratch on Regenair. So I need 2 symbols. We're going to use this and 1 wild as a basic attack. That's going to cost 1 for the wild and 1 for the scratch, so that's 3 damage. Minus 1 is 2, that's fine. So it's up to 5 out of 10, so we probably do want to hit it again. But Finrid gets to go next, and that's gonna be 2. Our lowest health RoboMon is Treadle, but it's not using a water type attack, it's using Tail Whip, which is 5 damage. 5 damage with the black die, minus 1 is 4. I think I will spend 2 of its energy to turn both of these into shields. Oh no, we still have this token left. So we'll use the token and only 1 of those energy as a shield and block all of that. And then Treadle can use Clamp, although, yeah, sure, I'll spend 1 energy to use Clamp as a basic attack. Clamp is 1 damage only. Could trap it too, which could be okay. So we'll roll these dice. 2 means it's not trapped. Minus 1 means instead of 1 we do 0 damage. And we roll up round 3. And 1 more timer. We're still not under pressure. I think I'll stick with the plan. We're going to have Regener do a scratch for 3. Although if I roll a +2, it's knocked out. So I'm actually going to use just the die, not the token. So it's a scratch for 2. Plus 1 is 3. So now it's at 8 damage out of 10 health. And now it's primed for us to try to reprogram it, but it gets to take its turn first. With a 3, it's again, oh no, it's a fire or earth type. So we can choose, it's using water gun, so we'll have it hit Treadle. So it has to roll the red disadvantage die, that's 4 damage, minus 2 is 2, and we can block it with this die, and then we'll forego Treadle's turn in order to attempt a reprogramming. It only has 2 health, so I'm going to go with the small reprogrammer, and we're going to roll d4 into the box and aim for the green center point. Actually landed completely outside the red line, which means it was a failed attempt. And that was Treadle's turn, so we move on to the next round. Alright, we got no timers there. That one fell out. Still no timers, so we get a little reprieve. We're going to attempt it again. So our reprogram is not expended until it's successful. So yeah, we're going to forego Regener's turn to attempt again. And this time it is in that yellow to red zone, which means our die result is unmodified, but 4 is more than the 2 remaining hit points, so we have reprogrammed Finrid. But I already have 2 Water RoboMon on my team. But this is the versus version of Finrid, so let's check out the version we would add to our team. Looks like it'd be this guy here. 13 health, 8 energy, 2 movement with swimming, and 39 speed. A bash for 2 or 4 damage with this 1 or 2 dice with push 3 attached. Thruster can use an energy to turn basic attacks into movement, so it can get around if it needs to. Although with that bash attack, we probably want to use those basic attacks. And Water Gun costs 3 energy, but does a big old line of damage. I feel like Finrid is pretty good. Hydron may have served his time. I'm liking this Propofen. We have other ranged attackers. I do like Hydron, but I think you gotta go, buddy. Give Finrid a chance. So Hydron is going to go into our save box, along with Burn Viper, Armadillo, and Sparky. This Finrid needs to go back into this deck. And we still need 1 more Finrid. We need the journal entry version of Finrid. And got that here to add to the journal for Gramp. It says manages saltwater fish populations to prevent overbreeding. So far we have Pandal, Sparky, Treadle, Burn Viper, Regener, Armadillo, Fruit Flyer, Hydron, Propofen, and now Finrid. Nice little journal building up. We'll put him right there. Alright, let's see if anything on this page has an entry in the book here. Let's go do this exploration symbol 3226. All battling so far. So I've been challenged to a dance competition by an artificially intelligent advertisement of a beautiful woman dancing. So I need to make a skill check. This is an endurance check, presumably to see how long I can dance, I suppose. My endurance is -1, so lucky me on that. And none of my RoboMon have the symbol to help me, so I'm going to be rolling 2d6 and subtracting 1. 5 plus 3 is 8, -1 is 7, so I think I barely made the cut for something mediocre. It says you dance more and more, steadily gaining a good rhythm. A few onlookers gather to watch entertained that you took the billboard on its challenge. She continues to compliment you. You are on fire. It's like you were made for this. Do the robot. You dance for a good 30 minutes before stopping, completely exhausted. A panel opens and you receive a small prize of a small repair kit. You know what? I'm just going to use it. We're going to heal Propofen. Right off. Just get that out of the way. Could try to maximize my small repair kit and wait till it has more damage, but let's just get it done. And we'll talk to these people. 4626. So this entry has a very subtle pun in it. You see a man pushing a baby in a stroller. As you get closer to him, he says, many people wince at the idea of brain transplants becoming possible in the near future, but just wait until we develop the technology. They'll change their minds. The man looks around and lowers his voice. And word on the street is that it's already here. Could that be a story hint and wordplay in the same short entry? I think so. Let's check out the statue next. Looks like there's a bolt mark there, but 2126. The statue commemorates the era when the humans and robots worked together to save the world from disaster. The plaque reads, Decinere Resurnegumus. The robot here is AE617, the first bot to go fully online. The woman is Dr. Sasha Agner, the scientist who first figured out how to make robots more than just machines. Nice world building and lore. Talk to this guy, this lady by the door, 1626. Oh, no battle. She says, sorry friend, the construction worker says, the area beyond this gate is under construction, so you'll have to come back after everything is done, probably in late 2023. Referencing the expected due date of the Game Found campaign when people will get their final copy. So this is a fraction of the total content in the game, probably like 12 to 15%. Is not what I've played through so far, but what is in total in this demo. And in order to continue that way, we'll need more content from a finished game. So it looks like we won't be going any further east. This brochure definitely shows some stuff east, so I was thinking I might go here next, but it looks like that's not going to be available. We're not going to be able to here. We won't be able to go to this military base. Where will you go next on your RoboMon adventure? Not that way. So after we finish out this city, looks like we'll be going back west over here. But for now, head into Bolt Mart, see if there's anything new for sale. And there is. How about that? So I think this is the first time I could buy a sensor. I got a few medium reprogrammers, but I don't know if they were for sale before. Same with large reprogrammers. Definitely couldn't buy a circuit board. But the especially exciting thing is down here, blueprints for Armadillox. So I gotta buy that. So I haven't been using Armadigo. I'm definitely marking off 15 silver to grab Adventure Deck card 22. Here we got Armadigo to Armadillox. Upgrade. We need a gear, metal, and a spring. I have a gear, I have a spring, and I have 2 metal. So I could use that right now. But I don't have Armadigo on my team, so I'll have to use this little open world mechanism to go back over here. I used the free heal, but I think I can freely change out my team. The rules are nebulous on storing damaged RoboMon and then getting them back out again. Not sure about that. Let's go ahead and switch somebody out. I think it might actually be Treadle's time to rest. I'll put Treadle back in the save box and grab Armadigo. It doesn't necessarily say it has to be on my team, but thematically I think it makes sense to. So Armadigo is going to go back into this stack. Now based on the blueprint, I'm going to grab card number 18 and see the Armadillox. 13 health, 10 energy, 44 speed, 3 movement. Run over costs 2 energy, but has 2, 3, or 4 damage. Good, but not amazing. Rock throw, 3 energy, earth type attack, range 5 for 2, 4, or 6 damage. And burrow does 3 or 5 damage with 5 extra movement built in. So we'll definitely give him a shot. And we get to keep this in case we ever need. Actually, I don't know why, because you're only allowed to have 1 of each RoboMon on your team. So I'll just put that into my save box along with these RoboMon. And of course I have to mark off my inventory. I no longer have a gear or a spring, and I'm down to 1 metal left. I think that's the only upgrade, the only blueprint in the demo, but I'll get to use an upgraded RoboMon at least. And then we can go back north here and finish out this zone. Talk to the woman in front of the museum, 3625. Actually, I have tons of money. Let's buy a bunch more stuff. I assume the sensors and circuit boards are for upgrades, which I'm not really gonna do. Let's buy 3 more large reprogrammers for 30 silver, 2 medium for 12 more, and 2 more large repair kits for 10 more. So that was a good bit of my money there. I still have 8 in storage plus 9 on hand. I mean, it's all on hand. It's just a matter of how you record it for your ease of managing components. And now we'll go to 3625. So she's just greeting us to the museum. She says be sure to head upstairs, check out the brand new dioramas. So we'll go inside with 2725. You can check out the museum there. Inside the Boole Museum of History. Get a little bit of a wider view before I start going in and reading entries. So first up is just the information welcome desk. It says if I have an old item, I can turn somewhere, but I don't have an old item. I have a broken watch and a VHS tape, but neither of them are tagged as being old. There's a cruise ship replica with the quote on global warming here. It says, I can't believe icebergs used to be big enough to sink ships. Entry on artifacts references that the Great Collapse deleted everyone's digitally stored photos. Blue whale skeleton notes that blue whales were too depressed to procreate. They were called blue whales for a reason. The elevator requires a 4-digit code to open, but it's not supported in the demo, it specifically says. Diorama says, one day I'm going to use DNA sequencing to bring back the dinosaurs. Then I'm going to create a theme park where people can come to see them, the clever girl says. What an idea. If only someone had thought of that before. So this is definitely something I would expect to see fleshed out more in the final game. It's a lot of cool artwork here for just a few little entries. And I think that rounds out Port Platinum Northeast. So next time we will go south. We already peeked over there at the RoboMon Repair Center. In the full version of the game, we would certainly travel east out of the gate. But otherwise, stay tuned for next time when we finish out Port Platinum. Thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.